this is my first Project 200 vlog. Project 200 is a personal project of mine where I am trying to source everything that I purchase and consume from within 200-kilometre radius of where I am in Australia. I've set certain exemptions, like when I am overseas, it needs to be from within that country. Just got back from UK and France. I found the project very easy in France because there's a lot of emphasis on local produce, and I guess because the country is so diverse with regions that you can grow a lot of stuff there. And also what I said about it being a lot of emphasis on local. I found it pretty hard in the UK. What I should say about France is that I found that people like talking to you about food and where it comes from, whereas I didn't sort of feel I could get much from people, the restaurants and stuff that we went to in the UK. I'm sure that there are people out there if I did more research. And you probably have to pay a good price for it as well. So I found it really hard in the UK, just going to like big supermarkets and stuff. It felt like it was all from another country. So I just got back from overseas yesterday and did a shop today. It was quite hard. I think that I need to do a lot of research before I go next time. I went to my local Woolworths. Sort of found hard to get a lot of stuff that I would normally get from within those parameters that I set. There are quite a few things which were that the actual products were from local. Like I managed to find Berenberg jam is within 200 kilometres of Adelaide. Leabrook honey. What else? San Remo, I think. Well, I know it's also a South Australian company. I wouldn't normally buy. Well, Woolworths do have good fruit and vegetables, but for this project, I knew it was probably going to be a little bit hard. I'd probably have to go to the central markets, which I should be probably going to anyway. But I managed to find quite a few things at Woolworths which appeared to be grown and packed locally. I actually found it was when I came to rice. I thought that was quite interesting. One of the things that exclusions I've got is that, one of the things outside the parameters, if I can go outside if the product has an environmental or social objective. With rice, I was shopping with she was a girlfriend, she was shopping at the same time. We were sort of talking about rice because there's no rice that's grown in South Australia to start off with, and then the second thing was, what do I do with it comes to rice? Is it, if it's grown in Australia, is it okay? And I guess that there's a lot of negatives about growing rice in Australia, in certain parts of Australia, because it needs a lot of water, whereas a lot of parts of Australia maybe doesn't have the required water to grow that rice. So what do I do there? And I talked about it with my girlfriend, and we thought, well, maybe from a country, if that rice comes from a country where you can grow rice efficiently with the water, is that okay? That's something I've got to think about. Another thing is, things like muesli bars. I think I'll have to learn how to make those. Bananas. Having a teenager in the house, you have to have things like bananas and wheat bix. What am I going to do in those situations? And butter as well, and tuna. We used to have tuna, although it's not within 200-kilometre radius, but we grow, not grow, where there's a lot of tuna fishing, sort of not that far from Adelaide, maybe 200 or so kilometres as the crow flies, to Port Lincoln, but nothing that you can get sort of in a can. So yeah, there's a few things I've got to think about, and what I'm going to do. I'm guessing that there's probably going to be a lot of cases where I'll have to discover how things are actually made, and if it's feasible, if I can actually make some of these things myself. And also the next thing is that, places like San Remo, who is a local company, for me it's not so much about local, it's much more than that. Like, where do they actually source their ingredients from? Does that fit within the 200-kilometre radius? So basically what I'm saying in a long way is, and this is a very long vlog, that I've got a lot more work to do, and I don't think I can just go to my local Woolworths and just expect to get everything that I need, which I probably didn't expect to do anyway, but there's a lot more research that I need to do. So that's enough from me for now, but I'll keep you updated.